order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. I can't ask you yet because you're Alex, huh? I haven't sworn you in yet. Caitlin, are you good with the agenda? So just to call you out on the spot, what we try to do is get your opinions on when we vote on things, so agenda to items, stuff like that. So you'll get the hang of it eventually. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. Now we can do Yoshimi's oath of office. Yeah. All right, Yoshimi, you wanna? You can just stand right there. I'll come around. Whew. All right, we'll do the oath of office. I state your name.
I, Yoshimi Junmei Garcia,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington,
and I will faithfully perform the duties of the school board.
and I will faithfully perform the duties of the school board,
Director of the Prosser School District number 116
director of the Prosser School District number 116
in the county of Benton,
in the county of
state of Washington,
state of Washington,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Thank you. And then we'll get you to sign this after the meeting. All right, moving on to discussion items, capital project update.
I put a piece of paper in front of you. It's just a real brief. I have spent quite a bit of time on this. So we did update the capital levy page. So if somebody wants to see on the first page of the website, it says capital levy projects. And we've put the link to the tennis court bid documents and any other bid documents and their stuff. We're adding another Q&A page. As questions come in, we'll be updating that. The tennis courts did go to bid. It was posted. As I said here, the pre-bid walk is on June 20. What that means is anybody who's bidding on questions, whatever, can walk with the architect and the project manager. The bid opens on June 26th. The Housel vestibule will go to bid, see, like next Thursday, and then it's 2 weeks, right? And then the ADA ramp will go right thereafter, knowing that they all have to be done and so forth. These two projects, we have not got the initial quotes, maybe under 300,000, and we may be able to just use our small works roster. So we're hoping for expediting projects and getting them done before school starts, right? And totally be done, not just like in the midst. We're hoping that that might be the case. Social media update later this week, and then we're going to try and do one. And the first one will say, here's where you'll find it. And then we'll try and update them as like the bids and then, you know, all the stuff that's going on. So people ask. The financing for the project is underway. Our goal is that it will close next week and the resolution on July 10. So if anybody has any questions about that. So what that means is we'll be borrowing the money to get them done. The resolution will come and then you'll see how the repayment works and so forth. Winnaha is helping us on the rewriting of the RFQ for the appraiser. So we should have that done late this week so that can go back out. We can't, do the sale of the surplus property till we have it appraised, but they're on the list. OPHS, the furniture is a little halfway complete. The address change, AC is still being worked on. The quote will be done through the small works roster because it's smaller than our policy 6022. I'm super excited, while we haven't seen the design yet, about fast signs. So you know where the corner of 6th and Prosser, there's a brick corner sign. So we're going to leave the original sign because we don't want to ever mess with it, but it actually has a, I call it plexiglass, but has kind of a cover on it. So they're gonna undo that, put our district sign over the top of it, right? So we'll be able to maintain that, so it'll never go away. So I'm super excited about that. The sign that's, I guess across from the white church on the corner as you turn in the parking lot, there's a pole there, so it's two there. There's one on the tennis court corner of Seventh and Cross, or Seventh or Patterson and there. So it'll tell people where to drive around. The frame where it says, welcome to Prosser High School, the Pepsi sign that's on the curve, all of that. Super excited about that work. We'll show it to you when we get it. But I'm really excited about how we're going to be able to show the community this is where we all are under one roof. The outside paint is still on track by the end of the month. So I talked to Brian Ace today on the Boys and Girls Club on the south side of the building. So we all have a portion in that. We're hoping to have the moving completed by June 30th. So that was kind of the joke last week. And I just think the big piece is we have weekly meetings. And so if anybody who's listening or listens to the recording later, or if you have questions, I do those every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And so I should be able to brief anyone who asks questions on what changed this week, what changed next week. All that is not necessarily something we'd put on the website unless someone asks me a question. I think, oh my gosh, I bet there's more than one person who wants an answer to this. And then I'll put a Q&A page up. And I think that's it. So just for public record, I think it's important that everybody knows what's going on.
Any questions? Questions, Yoshimi, Alex? Amy? Okay. Thank you. Moving on to budget timeline.
So I'd like you to pull up what was in the packet, and I'm going to share with you and like you to ask questions about it. Basically, we are so much ahead of the game. There's a couple pieces that I was nervous about bringing you a tentative budget. There's still some stuff going on in the MSOC world and a little argument at the legislative level about the cost of like increased insurance and some different things. There's also some potential for some grants for curriculum and some other pieces that I just wanted to push the pause. We're going to be way ahead of the game anyhow, but I want it to be as accurate as I can. So Delisa and I went through when we put these notes together. I challenge you to ask me questions about the process. This meeting was originally planned to do that, and I just don't want to be ahead of the game and have to come back for a budget revision.
So when will we see what study session would we see
I
that?
think she's talking, July 10th is the tentative budget posted.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think if you go July 10, I think is the date. I don't have my computer open, so I'm
Yep.
looking kind of over your shoulder, but I think that's our plan. We just want those last couple pieces and that grant proposal for potential for science curriculum. I want to see if we can maybe, even if I can get a tentative, then I would be able to say, okay, here's, we talked about planning to spend the money anyhow, but possibly have a revenue source for that. So.
Nice. Any questions?
I think we're further along than we ever were the last 2 years. So I appreciate
Yes.
all the meetings and the information and the timeline. I think it's going to be on time.
Great. All right, moving on to action items. Smarsh social media quote.
Okay, so I think if you open up Sean's header on that, it's pretty straightforward. Basically, it takes somebody who's looking at all of our social media and archiving it. And we have 3 Twitter accounts in the district. I think, does she explain that in there?
10 Facebook, 5 Instagram, 3 Twitter.
Right. Well, if we do close down the Twitters, which people are not tweeting like they used to, and it's not really caught a hold. I'm looking at the young people, it's not really caught a hold. By doing that, this company will even reduce our archiving even less. And Smarsh is just a company, just like if you said, you know, Microsoft, or it's just a company, but they archive this. And so that is just coming to, and because we're hitting the year-end cycle, this is for next year. Is that a correct statement? I think it is next year's.
Yes, 24, 25.
Yep.
Those Twitter accounts are really expensive.
They are very expensive. So I have asked for some review to see how many tweets we had and whatever. And I think the number was like less than 50. I just don't see any reason. And the manpower it takes to manage and manage the accounts.
And it's not even Twitter anymore, right?
Yeah, it's called
X.
X, right? I mean, so it just didn't catch a hold like other things have.
I had a couple questions. I see the total fee is what, $3,900 a year plus a $1,400 setup. But in the contract, there's also, and I don't know anything how this works, so it says data imports, a one-time fee at 25 gigabyte minimum. It's $10 per gigabyte thereafter. And then there's import data conversion and storage.
Mhm.
Is that gonna be a fee that's added on as we start to archive all of this data that we have?
I guess I'm gonna be very transparent and say, I don't think I can answer that either. We could call Sean unless Blake knows. No,
Not involved.
Yeah.
In this project.
right. And so we can do what we did before on the BSN one till we can have some better answers. Or we can call her if you would like. It's totally up to, because I don't want to answer and I don't expect you to do
Is
something.
this
if-
time sensitive?
I don't
It didn't
believe,
really
I
say.
don't know that it was.
I'm assuming it would be for
Yeah.
August to
Yes.
July 31st.
Mm-hmm.
My other question,
Uh-huh.
and is how long are the records supposed to be stored?
At least 7 years.
So 7 years of data, so all the stuff we have up from now to 7 years ago goes onto this platform plus,
Yep,
and then it drops off.
yep,
One
that's
drops off
correct.
annually.
That's correct. Other than, and this isn't because of this, but for an example, our board meetings are stored differently, but they never can be
Right.
erased. Yep. So this is just like our social media, like the post that homecoming's on Friday, right? That kind of posts still have to be retained for 7 years.
Okay. I don't know, I mean, I'll leave it up to you, but I almost feel like we should postpone it to the next meeting.
And that's
to-
just a week away.
To get more information.
Mhm, that's fine.
All right, I'll move to postpone the Smart Social Media quote to our next
June 26th.
June 26th meeting.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, so postponed. 26. Okay. Moving on to the BSN Sports Reward Program.
I've reviewed this. Does the language sound better to all of you?
I appreciated adding that last.
Yep.
time. Yeah.
That's the only change, right? Is that last sentence.
That's correct.
Any other questions? Well, I move to approve the BSN Sports Reward Program. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Yoshimi? Alexander? Kami? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, so now we are going to recess into executive session pursuant to RCW 4230-110-1G. No action to follow in the superintendent's final evaluation. To evaluate the qualifications of an applicant for public employment or to review the performance of a public employee, however, subject to RCW 4230-144. Discussions by a governing body of salaries, wages, and other conditions of employment to be generally applied within the agency shall occur in a meeting open to the public, and when a governing body elects to take Final action, hiring, setting the salary of an individual employee or class of employees, or discharging or disciplining an employee. That action shall be taken in a meeting open to the public. And we are going to recess for 30 minutes. So we'll reconvene at 6:45, and you're all free to go if you would like. Unless you want to hang out for 30 minutes. And Board, and Miss Casey. And could we have 10 minutes
Yeah,
prior to that?
I think we could use that room right next door since there's no one here.
Oh, perfect.
So then you don't have to go, and then I'll wait, and you can just wave through the window when you're ready for me.
Yeah. Wait, whenever you're ready.
We're recording.
All right, we'll reconvene this special meeting. For regular board meeting, we have our future meetings, that we have a meeting next Wednesday, June 26th, right here at the Prosser Library Workroom at 6 p.m. This meeting's adjourned.